Underwater fire. Cartoon logic is a magical thing, but SpongeBob SquarePants takes it to a new depth, literally. Nothing in Bikini Bottom is more head-scratching than the fact that, underwater, fire is everywhere. Campfires, fireplaces, candles, even citywide infernos. Need to roast a marshmallow? No problem. Need to burn down a restaurant? Happens weekly. Need to explain how any of this makes sense? That's when things get fishy. Fans have been poking at this watery plot hole since day one. In Life of Crime, Patrick and SpongeBob roast marshmallows over a campfire. Patrick suddenly asks, wait, how is there fire underwater? And poof, the fire instantly vanishes, as if it remembered it had an appointment with science. The show loves to lampshade its own nonsense, poking fun at itself almost as much as the fans do. Sometimes, even the characters get in on the joke, breaking the fourth wall with a look that says, yeah, we know this is dumb. Reddit has come up with a few explanations. Maybe it's special sea fire. Maybe Bikini Bottom physics runs on denial. Maybe it's magnesium. Or maybe, just maybe, if you don't think about it, it keeps burning. The moment a character or the audience questions it, SpongeBob physics yanks the rug out from under the flames. The truth? SpongeBob's world runs on fun, not science. Fire burns underwater because it's funny, and nobody ever tuned in to Nickelodeon for a lesson in combustion. It's a plot hole so blatant, even the writers couldn't resist making it part of the joke. In Bikini Bottom, the laws of nature are as flexible as SpongeBob's limbs, and sometimes the best answer is just to laugh and pass another marshmallow. Buzz freezes. If you ever wanted a plot hole that could launch 1,000 Reddit threads, look no further than Buzz Lightyear's existential crisis. In the first Toy Story, Buzz spends most of the movie convinced he's a real space ranger, not a toy. He doesn't play along with Woody, ignores the Andy on his boot, and generally treats everyone like they're lucky just to be in his presence. But here's the catch. Every time a human walks into the room, Buzz, true believer in his own sci-fi legend, freezes up just like all the other toys. Fans have obsessed over this for decades. If Buzz doesn't know he's a toy, why would he instinctively play dead around humans? Shouldn't he leap into action, try to communicate, or at least panic? Instead, he goes stiff as a board, letting Andy toss him around like a rag doll. Some have argued that maybe Buzz is programmed on a subconscious level to freeze, a failsafe in his toy wiring. Others think he's just mimicking the other toys, figuring when in Rome, do as the toys do, even if it makes zero sense for a supposed astronaut. Pixar's creative team, when asked, basically shrugged and admitted they did it for the gag. And honestly, fair enough. It's a plot hole so baked in, even the writers didn't bother to explain it. The result? Buzz's toy instinct is both one of the funniest running jokes in animation and a logic wormhole that still drives fans a little bit crazy. Sometimes the real magic of Toy Story isn't in the answers, but in the questions nobody wants answered, except the internet, of course, which will never ever let this one go. Vacuum speech. If you ever need proof that villains love the sound of their own voice, look no further than Zahir, airbender, anarchist, and the man who thought physics would just vibe along with his monologue. The Legend of Korra delivers some of the franchise's most brutal moments, but none gets rewound and side-eyed, quite like Zahir's vacuum speech. This is the scene. Earth Queen Hooting, a villain in her own right, is getting force-choked via airbending, while Zahir, channeling his inner Bond villain, drops a philosophical rant about freedom, life, and the nature of power. Epic, right? Except, as the internet was all too eager to point out, sound literally cannot travel through a vacuum. That's high school science. No molecules, no noise. So while Zahir is waxing poetic about liberty and darkness, the queen is technically hearing nothing, not a word. She's getting the world's most terrifying mime performance, while the fandom collectively wonders if Zahir was just rehearsing his TED Talk for an audience of one. This wasn't a blink and you'll miss it nitpick. Years after the episode aired, Avatar and Korra fans circled back on Reddit and elsewhere to agree. The speech while chilling makes zero physical sense. The most liked comments? If this is a vacuum, the Earth Queen died without hearing a word Zahir said. Right. The verdict? Right. Even the defenders admit Zahir is the kind of guy who enjoys his own speeches. Maybe he just wanted to impress himself on the way to regime change. Sure, it's a cartoon, and yes, airbending physics have always been, let's say, flexible. But when your villain moment turns into a cosmic joke on sound waves, you can't blame fans for making this plot hole legendary. Next time Zahir wants to make a statement, maybe stick to PowerPoint. At least the slides have a shot at being seen. No writing. Some plot holes are so legendary, even Disney Magic can't cover them up. Enter Ariel, the mermaid who gives up her voice to become human, then spends the rest of the movie playing high-stakes charades with Prince Eric. But here's the million-dollar question. If Ariel can't speak, why doesn't she just write a note, scribble a message, draw a picture in the sand? This is the same girl who signed a contract with Ursula, so we know she can write, at least well enough for demon legalese. Fans have turned this moment into a meme minefield. Reddit threads run wild. Just right, I'm Ariel. You saved me. Ursula stole my voice. Please kiss me by Tuesday. Problem solved. Others wonder if maybe she only knows mermaid script, or if the surface world has different alphabets. Though nobody seems to have a problem reading Ursula's scroll. Maybe Ariel just didn't want to ruin the dramatic tension by doodling in the sand. Some defenders argue Ariel was too distracted by new legs, human customs, and, being in love to think logically. Others say it's Disney logic. The story needs a helpless, silent protagonist, not a mermaid with a pen and a plan. Still, the visual of Ariel frantically drawing stick figures while Eric scratches his head would have been worth the price of admission. The result? One of animation's most beloved, most debated plot holes. Sometimes fairy tales demand a suspension of disbelief, preferably the size of a shipwreck. Next time you lose your voice, remember? A little note can save you a whole lot of trouble unless you're under the sea, where apparently nobody brings a pencil. Donkey babies. Every animation franchise has its share of weird, but Shrek 2's ending went straight for the Guinness Book of plot holes. Enter the Dronkies, Donkey and Dragon, 6 little miracle babies, each one a cheerful blend of floppy ears, scales, fire breath, and straight up genetic confusion. Cue the audience reaction. Wait, how does that even work? Fans have been puzzling over this one for years. Is it magic? Cartoon logic? Or did DreamWorks just look at biology, laugh, and say, not in this swamp? Reddit is full of wild theories. Maybe dragons shape-shifted. Maybe there's a forgotten potion somewhere. Maybe, brace yourself, Donkey is more than just talk. Some point out the interspecies baby trope in animation, but Shrek doesn't even try to cover it up with an adoption subplot. These kids are the real deal. There's fire breathing, there's flying, there's the very real danger of Donkey getting singed every time he gives a group hug. Even the filmmakers have weighed in, basically admitting they did it because it seemed logical. In Shrek logic, sure, after all, this is a universe where frogs marry humans, pigs crash parties, and gingerbread men wage war with giant gumdrops. But that hasn't stopped the internet from turning the Dronkies into a meme machine. If you want to see the fanbase at its most creative, just ask, how did Donkey and Dragon make babies? Actually, maybe don't. In the end, Shrek 2 cemented its legacy, not just as a fairy tale parody, but as the animated film that gleefully bulldozed past the boundaries of genetics, reason, and probably the MPA. What do we get? 6 flying, fire-breathing kids that would give a genetics professor nightmares, and make every parent wonder if bedtime stories should come with a warning label. Portal Customs. There's a saying in the Rick and Morty fandom, if it makes sense, it's probably not canon. Enter the pilot episode's infamous Portal Customs scene, a moment so confusing it could give even Rick Sanchez a headache. Picture it. Rick and Morty, chased by alien TSA agents, running through what amounts to an interdimensional airport, complete with scanners, lines, and a galactic bureaucracy that feels way too much like the DMV. The only thing missing is Rick cursing out a customs officer for asking about mega seeds. Here's the plot hole. In this very first episode, portal travel is run-of-the-mill. The Galactic Federation seems to have portals, customs, security, and a whole system built around interdimensional movement. Morty even has to smuggle seeds where the sun don't shine, just to clear security. But flash forward a few seasons, and suddenly Rick is the only guy in the multiverse who knows how to portal hop. Every major plotline relies on his exclusive tech, and the Federation is painted as desperate to steal his secrets. Wait, so the Federation went from portal pros to portal posers overnight? Reddit detectives have been on the case for years. Some argue that maybe the pilot's portals were just intradimensional, hopping around the same universe with fancy blue portals instead of the classic green ones. Others try to explain it away with infinite realities, so maybe that custom scene was in an alternate timeline, which is just multiverse speak for we give up. Then there are those who point out that the pilot isn't canon anyway, which is TV fan code for let's just pretend it never happened. At the end of the day, it's a classic case of the show getting more clever or more lazy as it went on. Whether it's blue portals, green portals, or just plot convenience, one thing's for sure, Rick's the only one with a portal gun now, and the rest of the multiverse is stuck waiting in line. Bill's Erasure. Gravity Falls ended with a bang, and a collective "wait, what?" from the internet. The final showdown traps Bill's cipher inside Stan's mind, where Ford uses a memory eraser device programmed with Stanley Pines. The result? Bill is wiped from existence, or is he? Fans have obsessed over this for years. Did the device erase Bill, or just Stan's identity and memories? On paper, typing Stanley Pines would only nuke Stan's memories, not Bill's. If you really wanted to erase Bill, wouldn't you need to write Bill's cipher on the machine? Forum threads and Reddit debates have chewed on this endlessly. Some argue that only Stan's brain got wiped, while Bill just got caught in the crossfire. Or, being immortal, maybe he can never truly be erased. Others try to logic it away. If Stan's mind is the only place Bill exists, then erasing Stan's memories erases Bill too. Sure, but it's the kind of logic that only works if you squint really hard and don't think about Bill's whole interdimensional demon shtick. Of course, there are also the fans who joke that Bill was simply reincarnated as Discord from My Little Pony. Stranger crossovers have happened. In the end, nobody really knows if Bill's cipher is gone for good or just lurking, waiting to re-emerge when the writers feel like breaking the universe again. One thing's for sure, this is one of animation's most memorable and most hotly debated plot holes, and the internet wouldn't have it any other way. Double meeting. Animation fans love a juicy continuity error, and BoJack Horseman delivers a real noodle scratcher. In Season 5's Halloween episode, we see Diane meeting BoJack for the first time at one of his legendary parties. Flashbacks, awkward costumes, drunk celebrities. It's classic BoJack. The twist, eagle-eyed fans, and the internet naturally remembered. Diane's actual first meeting with BoJack happened at a completely different party, thrown by Todd to pay off a debt way back in Season 1. Reddit's on the case. Some claim it's a straight-up plot hole, one of those "wait, did the writers forget their own story" moments. Others defend the double introduction as a clever in-universe detail. BoJack was too drunk and self-absorbed to remember the first time, and Diane was too starstruck or mortified to mention it again. To be fair, these two have had more first meetings than Princess Carolyn has had business cards. The beauty here is the show's own messy honesty. Real life isn't always tidy. People forget, misremember, rewrite their own histories. BoJack just does it with more alcohol and Hollywood drama. Maybe the writers retconned it on purpose. Maybe they just wanted a good Halloween party montage. Maybe, just maybe, it's the most BoJack Horseman plot hole of all. A timeline so jumbled even the main characters can't keep up. So does this double meeting break the show? Not really. But for fans who crave that perfect continuity, it's a headache and a reminder that in BoJack's world, nobody ever really gets a clean slate. They just show up at another party and hope someone else is too drunk to notice. And that's a wrap. 8 plot holes, dozens of fan theories, and one big lesson. In animation, logic is optional. Did we miss your favorite? Drop it in the comments and let the wild theories begin. Until next time, keep poking holes and don't forget, cartoon reality has no rules, just fun.